to the skyline. Sorry, I'm not sure if this lighting and whatever's gonna work. You might get a bit of a shine off the head, and I probably look like a schlup because hair and makeup hasn't shown up today, but they've never shown up, so. Anyways, not at a fashion show. What we're doing is building a guard for this. So I have made a little elbow. So this is for the skyline. An elbow coming off the turbo, which is bringing the air filter down into the front corner. And so the reason for this is the radiator fans, the way it was set up, is going to be blowing hot air directly into the air filter, as well as the belts are right there. So if something happens, at least it won't, like a belt comes off, it won't tear a hole in the filter, hopefully. Hopefully no belt comes off, but you never know. These guys, they really buzz these little cars. They make a lot of power and a lot of fun. So what I have to do is, well, I made this. So I have made a set of bead roller dies. Someday I'll show a video on that. I could remake the one die actually. I don't like how it works. But I have the bead roller dies that I can put bead rolls in. And then I have another set of dies for small stuff too. But the bead roller really works well. To put these bead rolls in. Anyway, we have like I think it was a 30-degree bend to move the air filter out behind the headlight. Anyway, that's done. And I also brushed it with a polisher disc with a grit on it. And so this air filter now, I'm gonna take a piece of aluminum, I'm gonna form it so it goes onto the hose clamp here. And I guess if I take and make it, I could make it out of really thin aluminum if I support it on this side. Well, take a look. I'd have to bead roll it less and stuff too. It'd be another hose clamp on here, one on here. But I could really make a nice guard for this out of aluminum that's gonna keep the IATs a little cooler. So it'd be nice to get this air filter out from under the hood of the car, but these cars are very rare, very awesome little cars. People cut them up and they end up getting in trouble a lot for doing that. They get targeted a whole bunch. And it's not really fair. They get targeted for sure, but they do. So we're not cutting holes in this car anywhere possible that is going to do anything with structure, so that there's nothing questionable on this car. And I don't want to cut holes in this cool little car that's, you know, pretty rare little car. So anyway, so I'm just going to take some measurements here, and I'm gonna plasma cut out a guard for this. And so, yeah, it's so this air filter is about 4 3/4 on this side, and just roughly, it's about 6 inches on this side. So we'll taper the guard down, but I still want it kind of bigger on this end. So anyway, carry on with that. I'm gonna CNC this guard out. That way if something does happen, we can just duplicate it. I really have to say, having a CNC plasma table is a serious blessing. I mean, I don't know, it doesn't take very long to build shapes, and we will get this set up and blast it out and start forming it up. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Hit some buttons and get her going. I bought my first CNC plasma in 2007, and I mean, technology is beautiful. It does have its ups and downs and things go wrong, but this took me less time to lay out on the computer than it would have if I laid it out on a sheet of material. So, I mean, it's just a huge advantage. Of course, this stuff costs money, and I had a business where this really afforded me the capabilities to do this, and I'm glad that I was able to keep stuff. This is, I think, yeah, I've had multiple tables, but anyway, this one right now I kept, and it's in good shape, still works really good. But like, I mean, me jibber jabbering away here is longer than what it takes to cut, so I just have to tell it what to do. So all the fumes and stuff are going up and out the exhaust system. That all isn't finished yet. But anyway, that thing doesn't argue when you tell it what to do. I am using some extremely thin material. So I am going to throw in some stiffeners into this with the bead roller so that it isn't a floppy little mess. I like this side better, so this is what we're going to choose. Not really measuring any of this. This is all just going to be eyeballed. I'm going to have a little lip going down here with the bead roller, something to follow. And I want a little bit of space in this so that it's not right tight against the air filter, so we have some nice airflow. Using aluminum as well dissipates heat, which is going to be an advantage in this. We don't want her hot. She's a hot car, but we don't want her hot. Okay. I just picked some random stuff here that I don't need to use the tape on. Just to put a pattern in. Just because we can. I drink water all the time, but my buddy, he drinks Gatorade. And so guess what? He's got empty Gatorade sitting here. That lid is just gonna work nicely for the corner radiuses. I do have the die or the tool to make nice corner radiuses, but I didn't feel like when I had that open, putting the other tool away to grab it out. Just, yeah, just because. So I didn't. Jibber jabbering again. You ever get in trouble for being a jibber jabber? I did when I was a kid. I still haven't grown up. Oh. Over the years, I have built a lot of stuff for the bead roller, which I really like this tool. I've been using it to build commercial parts before I was doing this full time for a lot of years. So I had to build a bunch of dies and so on. Actually, this is the die that I was talking about earlier to put bead rolls in. So this one here, if you tighten it up, it's locked onto the shaft. So it rotates with the shaft. And then this one here, it actually, yeah, I can show you. Oop. So use a spacer in it. But this one here, which this is the part that I really don't like, it's got a bearing in it. I got a little tiny mini bearing in this thing. And so because the wheels are different sizes, these are together, they're both driving. And so I need this one to be able to rotate because the gear ratio is different. So if they were both solid this size, well, one of them would just skid around and it would wreck the piece you're making. So with this one being the drive one, now this one is free to rotate. So it just fits on there and rotates, which I don't know. I really like this setup that I have. It built it a lot of years ago. I want to modify it. I wanted to modify it for, well, we'll call it years. And someday, it's on my wish list to fix it all up. And so someday the wish list will be my dreams come true. So this set of dies is a factory set that you can buy for this. I don't remember. I think these are Eastwood dies. This one here, I'm not sure why. Not sure what I did. This one here, I probably dropped it on the floor or something. It's a little tight going on. I should throw it on the lathe and fix that. It's another someday project. So I'm going to use these bead roll dies and possibly I might change over to a different tipping die. I'm not sure, but we'll see how nice this is to move. But I'm going to use it a little bit unorthodox because I have to give this a curved shape as I am as I'm bead rolling. So I want to have it straight one way but curved the other. So I'm going to take it real slow and put a bit of a curve into this piece as I do it. So it's going to get stepped around pretty hard. So I just like to tighten that up to set up my dies where I want them. These you can space it out a little bit. Make it tight, whatever you want for thickness of material and so on. So anyway, we're ready to go here. So round, cone, and flat material. So the plan is to, hopefully in one step, like, I mean, it's going to take lots of times through the roller, but hopefully in one step, shape this. I'm going to make that an up shape. Sounds good. So I made a really big table for this, which is like my favorite thing on this table or on this bender. It keeps everything so nice and in line, and yeah, it just does such a nice job. But we are going to put a contour in this. So right now, all I'm doing is kind of putting a line in it where this felt mark is. And hopefully I'm not blocking everything there with my bald head. I shouldn't look away when I'm doing this. Like I just did, that corner I'll have to get prettied up a little, so I'm going to make an extra round so that I can pretty that corner up that I just looked away while I was rolling. And you can see this is real thin stuff. I can pretty that up with another go. So make it all the way around. Now there's lots of different ways to do transitions with this thing so that you don't see lines. One of the things that I have found over the years that I really like to do is as I'm traveling, So there isn't a distinct line. Lots of people do it on a corner, leading up to a corner or whatever, which is all good. It works, is I actually tighten it while I'm moving. Now, this is where I am going to be bending as we're rolling it to get it into shape. So this is the rounded part, and I am literally, I'm putting a lot of roll force on this to make this have a shape as I bend it with the roller. And I want to do this until I get into this corner pretty hard. And these ones need to stay straight, so we're no force on this at all other than going through the roll flat. As I get into this corner now, I don't know if you can see, I'm just trying to get a nice harsh roll into this. And of course, I'll have to hand form this a little bit once we're done, because I can see I'm doing some bending in a direction I don't want to, but whatever. I'm going to go around this a couple times to get my lines in there really nice, and to be able to bend this while putting the roll in. I do have a nice set of rolls to put rolls in, but with thin aluminum, I've done this before and it works, so why not? I'm really gonna have to brush this aluminum as we do this, because I'm getting a good, I should have done this on the side. I'm getting a very good scratch put into it because I'm bending it and putting it through the roller, so the corners are really scratching. We have the technology to fix that. Elbow grease, some tools. I don't know if you've ever greased your elbows. It's a funny saying. Elbow grease. That would kind of suck. I think it'd be dirty. Just imagine if you greased your elbows, if they had to do surgery on you, you'd be like, what the heck is this? They'd have to do surgery on you if you did grease your elbows, I'm sure of it. You have to sneak it through here because I'm scratching it bad. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm just going to hand work this a little bit more. Anyway, I might put this in the brake, but I think I can do it by hand with how thin this all is, and I just don't want any extra marks on it. The brake will do. But, I mean, that's a pretty decent cone shape. We can make that stand off. So I definitely need to curve this end more. This end, just at the edges, I guess. It's coming along. So, I mean, this is going to be a pretty piece, but it's not. It's not going to get polished, painted, anything like that. Anyway, I like it. I like it. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put I was going to use these rolls to do it, but I think what I'm going to do is just use a tipping die. So when you use a tipping die, you got to be careful with the edge of this that it makes it pass there where you're tipping. I might actually have to tip this upside down. One side one way, one side the other way, I think. So if you don't put it on far enough, the bolt on the end is going to be sticking out and you're going to tip right into that, which would suck. Okay, so that has to go down. Then that'll go up. Okay, so it's like a little, I don't know what you want to call it, a mini brake, whatever. It just roll it through here. This is real thin material. It's 20 gauge. And just as you're doing it, bend it up. Got to give myself some clearance, which I don't like doing because of this right here. So you're going to have to be very careful about that bolt hole. I should make a new bottom die set. because this leaves an ugly mark in the material. So just creating that offset. I'm thinking maybe a steel or a stainless zip tie could go around this to make it look nice, I think, maybe, don't know. Okay. There's the air filter offset. I'll still hand bend these to give them a bit more contour, I think, so that it fits it properly. And we'll put an offset on this side. I'm going to tip this whole side on that line right there a little bit. So I am trying to bend this more by doing this, so that this causes a stiff edge and a stiff line on this. So I made a funky bend there. Rollers are spitting it out a little bit, but because I'm forcing it on this weird angle to take a bend. So it's kind of getting rolled over right now, which is exactly what I want. And we're just gonna have to clamp that down a little harder so that we can have a little bit more grip on it. Get it to take that shape, and as we do it, hand bend it so that it's bending around. And it wants to move there. You can see it just wants to do this. There's no complaining. Corner doesn't like it, but once we have this line in it, it'll be pretty. It's gonna work. See how it's got this nice rolled edge on here now? It looks like a factory piece. Once I brush this up, get rid of the scratches, this is gonna be really pretty. Pretty pretty. Bead roller designed to do this? Nope. Do we care? Nope. Do we know how metal moves? Yep. Don't worry about trying some new things and failing at it the first time, for especially if you have equipment that you can repop pieces pretty quickly. But this to me is getting pretty golden. Nice contour, nice rounded edges, nice, nice. Nice. And I can bend these, which I think I'm going to, with hand pliers. I'll straighten these all up and everything too, but I think over here, I think we're done. And this is a nice stiff piece now. I'm not even sure what these pliers are called. I know tin bashers use them, but I really like them to bend little stuff like this, so that's what I'm using too. And thin aluminum, like, my goodness, does it bend easy. So I'm gonna be forming some curves into this. I was gonna maybe use a hammer and dolly, I don't know, a piece of pipe, whatever. That's what we're probably gonna be doing. I'm just trying to get this figured out where it's gonna be. I think I'm going to be cutting off some of these tabs. I want it a ways. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. Use the end of the tool for measurement. Okay. I don't know if you can hear my rooster in the background, but I have two roosters. One's Peep Peep, my son-in-law named him. The other one is Willie. Maybe one day we'll look at those funny animals. Okay, I don't like that. Don't like it. I am going to, actually, I don't mind it. I just gotta give it some more shape here. So actually is pretty nice. It's got quite a nice shape to it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna finish this thing up. I'm gonna trim the ends off here. I left them a little long because I wasn't sure how long it is. I'm gonna hand shape it a little bit and then I'm gonna brush it up so that it has the same brushed look as this piece here, and we will be good to go. So I'll take some pictures or a little video after it's on the car, but I'm liking it. So I've been neatening it up and working on it a bunch. I just didn't want to leave you out. So it's just normal dolly, nothing fancy, but these are flat, that's curved. And so what I am just gonna do, curve at it. It's plier size again. So this one's flat, this one's curved. Makes it nice. That shroud, in my opinion, looks pretty good. It's going to protect from pulling the air off the rad. There's a hole below. It's going to pull air in. There's around the headlights is a hole. So once this gets tied down, this thing will be evenly spaced. It's underneath that clamp. Still got to get more clamps, and this thing is ready to go home.